Javielito, Tacos Are Life, y más, the podcast where we dive into the delicious, the bizarre, and the downright fascinating. Hola, my friends. Welcome back to Javielito, Tacos Are Life, y más. Today, we dive deep into a story that reminds us of the fragility of life and the importance of trusting our instincts. I'm your host, Javielito, and today we're exploring the heartbreaking case of Maribel Ramos, a bright, ambitious woman from Orange County, California, whose life was tragically cut short by someone she thought she could trust, her roommate, Kwang Cho Yoe, aka Casey. But this story is not about a crime. It's about the dangers of letting the wrong person into your home, your life, and your family. It's a cautionary tale that reminds us to be vigilant about who we allow into our inner circles. Let's begin. Maribel Ramos was a 32-year-old woman with her whole life ahead of her. She was close to finishing her degree in criminal justice at Cal State Fullerton and had dreams of becoming a probation officer. Described by her family as kind, outgoing, and full of life, Maribel was the kind of person who lit up a room. She was close to her family, especially her sister Rosie Gonzalez, and was always the one bringing everyone together for dinners, games, and celebrations. But in 2012, Maribel was found herself in the need of a roommate to help with her expenses. And that's when she met Casey Joy, a man who seemed quiet, polite, and unassuming. At first glance, he appeared to be a perfect roommate, someone who kept to himself and wouldn't disrupt her busy life. But as soon we'll learn, appearances can be deceiving. Casey Joy was a man who, by all counts, lived a solitary life. When Maribel and her sister Rosie first met him, he told them he had never been married and had no children. He seemed like a loner, but not in a threatened way. In fact, Maribel felt sorry for him. He was always at home, rarely went out, and didn't seem to have any friends or family. Over time, Maribel began to include Joy in her family gatherings. He became a familiar face at dinners and parties and even joined her on errands like grocery shopping and walking their dogs. What started as a simple roommate arrangement slowly turned into a friendship. But for Casey Joy, that friendship wasn't enough. In the summer of 2012, Rosie Gonzalez received a shocking phone call from Casey Joy. Casey confessed that he was in love with Maribel and wanted to marry her and have children. Rosie was stunned. She gently told Casey while he deserved love, Maribel wasn't interested in him romantically. Rosie immediately warned Maribel about the conversation, urging her to set clear boundaries with Casey. Maribel did just that, telling Casey directly that she saw him only as a friend. At first, it seemed like Casey accepted her rejection, but soon, his behavior took a disturbing turn. Casey began to make drastic changes in an attempt to win Maribel over. He bought new wardrobe, got a tattoo, and even spent over $10,000 on plastic surgery to look younger. He also paid a cruise, hoping Maribel would join him. But none of these efforts changed her feelings. Instead, they revealed a dangerous obsession brewing beneath the surface. On May 2nd, 2013, Maribel Ramos vanished. The last person to see her alive was Casey. He told investigators that they had gotten into an argument that evening, after which he went on a long drive. When he returned, Maribel was gone. At first, Casey cooperated with police, but his story didn't add up. Investigators soon discovered that Casey had a history of violence, including a prior conviction for assault with a deadly weapon. As they dug deeper, they found evidence linking Casey to Maribel's disappearance. Tragically, Maribel's body was discovered weeks later in a remote area of Riverside County. She had been strangled to death. Casey was arrested and charged with her murder. In 2015, he was convicted and sentenced to 26 years to life in prison. Maribel Ramos' story is a heartbreaking reminder of the importance of knowing who you bring into your home, your life, and your family. While it's human nature to want to see the best in people, we also need to trust our instincts and pay attention to the red flags. Casey presented himself as a quiet, harmless man, but beneath the facade was someone capable of unspeakable violence. Maribel's kindness and willingness to include him in her family, her life, were qualities that made her special, but they also made her vulnerable. This case underscores the need for thorough background checks, open communication with loved ones and friends, and a willingness to act when something feels off. It's a lesson we can all take to heart and learn. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Javielito, Tacos Are Life y Más. If Maribel's story has touched you, I encourage you to share it with others. You can also watch this story in the Netflix series, Worst Roommate Ever. Let's honor her memory by being vigilant and looking out for one another. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this podcast with your friends. It helps us bring these important stories to light. Until next time, stay curious, stay safe, and remember, life is a taco. Savor every bite. Adios.